So welcome so much to today and this conversation. And I think with this kind of intimate setting, we can call it a conversation. The thing that Nicole did not say is, I think one of the reasons why I'm on the stage is I've been leading in our own practice in advisory how we disrupt ourselves. So although I'll be talking about what we do with clients and what we're seeing, it's very personal to me because I'm experiencing it firsthand as well. So I'm living through the same things that many of you are living through or helping other organizations live through at the same time. So I think it's really good to be here this morning, good to step back and to look at what's actually working and what isn't. From large organizations to startups we have in the room, from technology and policy, I've met some of you, and to marketing and investment. AI isn't sitting neatly in one place. It cuts across us all. And so that means that we are all facing similar questions, just oftentimes the context is different. Now, if there's one thing we know about AI right now, it's that the conversation has shifted quite decisively. Not long ago, the focus was, what do I think AI could really do? What could this technology do? And of course, we're still exploring some of that. But actually, the question has largely been answered for many of us in terms of how we could change. Most organizations have been investing and have proven use cases. In our new report that we issued yesterday called Make AI Scale, we've published data that showed, you can see it on the screen, 70% of leaders see AI as a priority, but only 5% are delivering consistent returns. I'm having that conversation with my CFO right now, for example. So enthusiasm, I don't think, is the issue. The question now is, we know it works. How do we make it work at scale? Because most organizations aren't starting from zero anymore. They're starting with progress, pilots that have worked, processes that have been improved, a sense that something meaningful is happening, but then momentum slows or gets stuck. The conversation shifts from possibility to returns. And because while progress is real, only a small proportion are actually seeing consistent ROI. That's the gap. Not between ambition and action, but between early success and real enterprise-wide impact. Closing that gap is not a technology problem for the most part. It's about how your organization actually runs and the people in it. Because scaling AI isn't about tools, more pilots, or another demo, it's about redesigning workflows, decision-making, accountability, end to end. At KPMG, we describe this moment that AI stops being a change program, and it starts to look much more like an industrial transformation. You're not just improving processes, you're building new production lines.
In the AI. Sorry.
And I have some accompanying music. And when organizations get stuck, it usually comes down to three things. We've seen it firsthand: fear, friction, and focus. Fear of what it means for people. And I know we talked about one of the speakers here today. We'll get more into that. And the general inertia of change. Focus, balancing transformation with the day job. And the trade-offs that you need to make progress. So we've taken some of our best technologists who could do work for clients and brought them internally in to work side by side with subject matter experts who, again, could do work with clients, but to work on how we deliver our services differently. That was a conscious choice. That was a trade-off between immediate revenue, client revenue, or do we change ourselves? Everyone is going through that, and not to be underestimated. And then friction, when new ways of working meet existing controls. It's super important. So the controls aren't the problem. The issue is we need to recalibrate them. The pace at which things are coming means that we need to look at how do we change and make sure that we're safely embedding AI and not losing trust. So none of this is failure. It's actually where AI becomes real. It's because the conversation has shifted from what AI can do to what it's actually doing for the business. We are seeing that, as I said, in practice. From testing AI voice agents with government, to deploying AI across KYC and compliance and regulatory processes at some large major banks, to disrupting ourselves, as I said before, in how we deliver our services. So how do I deliver a forensic investigation differently? How do I implement an ERP system differently? How do I do diligence for a deal differently? Outcomes that the client still wants, but I can do it in a very different way. Moving from these isolated use cases to looking at complex end-to-end real-world experiences and systems. We're also seeing organizations rethink how work itself is done, taking processes that used to take months and redesigning them so AI does the heavy lifting, while people focus on judgment and decision-making. Reducing timeliness dramatically while improving quality. These aren't just marginal gains anymore. They are fundamentally different ways of producing those outcomes. And what's particularly interesting, I think, in a room like this is that those consistent patterns exist no matter which sector or size of organization you're from. We're dealing with fundamentally the same challenges. The context just might be different, as I said before, but the underlying challenge is remarkably similar. So how do you move from something that works to something that works consistently at scale? In our view, it's about reshaping expectations of organizations. We've built a position over decades in audit and tax and advisory based on trust, on rigor, on helping clients navigate complexity. But what's changing now is the nature of that complexity and the pace at which things are changing. How do we respond? And you're experiencing the same thing. Clients aren't just asking for advice on transformation, as I said. They're asking for how to apply AI fundamentally to redesign their business operations. That is changing our role too. AI will be a key in how we deliver our work. So today, as you talk with each other, it's not about hype. And we talked to some of you saying, sometimes we talk about all the things that we've done so far. And there are some amazing things that each of us have done so far in our organizations and we're seeing clients do day in, day out. But today should be, I think, more around turning the dialogue to scaling AI and creating value. How do we do it in a way that builds and engenders trust? Because across every sector, organizations are working through the same fundamental challenge at the same time. And there's a real opportunity to learn from each other as we do it. Ultimately, for most of us, technology is not the race. It's a transformational challenge. And success will come down to taking something that works and making it work consistently across the business. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm really looking forward to the conversations ahead.